What up, everybody? This is your boy Adrian Colbert, and you are tuned into Small Things to a Giant, episode 5, with my man Ari Rastegar.
Oh man, glad to be here today.
With success, a lot of people change. I've seen it firsthand, and I mean, even just a little tiniest piece of success. Because I mean, I've known players that have come in the league and been undrafted, and even in college, I've seen guys that came in with 3-star, 2-star, make a couple of plays, and then next thing you know, it's disrespect city.
You know what's funny is, there's a lot of parts about people that don't change, and it's really a mask coming off.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. So maybe they were that person before. They just that was the first opportunity to reveal what their true character was. Is that I've met billionaires that were kind, gentle, beautiful human beings, and I've met billionaires that were fucking assholes. And it's you are what you are, but one of the great gifts that we have is we do have the ability to change. We have the ability to change, no matter what anybody tells us. And the Japanese have a beautiful philosophy that I love called Kaizen. And Kaizen essentially means constant, never-ending improvement till the day that I die.
My special teams coach at New York Giants has that on before every meeting. He has a big, because we walk in and there's like a big projector, and this is where you watch film, and there's I don't even know what animal it is, but then you see it in red underneath. It says Kaizen, and he told us that when I first got there, and I was just like, wow,
it's beautiful.
That's pretty tight. But I mean, when I hear the word, I just remember I don't even know what it was. I don't know if it was a dog or a hyena, but it just looked scary. But just that quote and that message is just it's powerful.
It is, and it starts to, when you look at life, there's things that that you don't know, and then there's a whole realm of things that you don't know that you don't know that you don't know.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
But a lot of people are get offended when they don't know something.
Yeah, and for some reason that's a cultural misconception that needs to change. And for me personally in my life, there was a time that it was all about me. That I wanted, I wanted the fame, I wanted the cars, I wanted all that stuff, and those were when I made the biggest mistakes that were avoidable. There's mistakes that you make in life when you're taking risks, when you're following your heart, that you've done the analysis, and those mistakes are good mistakes. Those are failing forward, right? You take a moment of introspection, and then there's mistakes that you make in your life that are ego-driven, that come from not from a place of congruency or a place of authenticity. But in my own life, it wasn't until I started surrounding myself with believable people that were willing to challenge the things that I was saying with research, with data, not from a place of trying to be, better than me, but trying to find the right answer, not trying to be right. And that vulnerability was a key moment. It was an inflection point in my life, and I can kind of equate it to becoming a father. Right around the time my first daughter, Victoria, was born, I realized, oh my gosh, I got my wife, my first daughter. It can't be just about me anymore. I have a family, and then our second, then our third. But checking that ego at the side and knowing that this is about contribution. This is about doing something bigger than me. But that takes a tremendous amount of vulnerability. And my college roommate will tell you, as a younger man, I wasn't that nice.
Wasn't that nice? What? I honestly, I literally can't imagine you not being nice. From the second we got on the phone call last week, till now. Like it's all love. Like I can feel the love and the niceness just radiating off of you, just with a hug, with some dap. I mean, just with your energy that you're giving off once you speak.
I appreciate that, but to be brutally honest with you, that was always in my heart.
Yeah.
But I had the masks on, and the traumas of growing up, and I could give you my sob story like the rest of us, that we have, and what I wouldn't compare, my plight or my traumas, but there was a moment in my life that I realized that life was happening for me, not to me. And all the things that I thought were bad were leading me somewhere. But I had to peel that onion, man. Like I had to go find a life coach, who's one of the greatest life coaches in the world. Her name's Lauren Zander. She coaches from Hugh Jackman to, just biggest names in the world. But I had to peel away that scar tissue from that heart that was there. So it was guarded. I'd been hurt a lot, and I was trained, like a lot of us men are, to guard our feelings, to act tough, and put on that machismo or whatever you want to call it. But it took me a while to peel that onion off, to let that light that was there shine. And we all have that. We all have that light and that love within us, but trauma or media or propaganda has taught us different. And so the great lesson is to unlearn, not to learn. Is to unlearn what we've been taught all these years, to become our authentic self, and live that life of congruency, whether it's on the field or off the field, being that same person, but that took work. I'd be lying to tell you if that was the guy that you met, that you've come to know 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I wasn't that guy. I had to build this guy. I had to take there was a piece of marble, and had to take a chisel and a hammer and
chip away
and carve that dude out. Good, bad, or indifferent. I had to break down those walls, those that do the inner work. To be able to get there. And people don't like to talk about that because it's the stuff that you do in quiet, that you do in privacy. And
I'm still looking and searching for ways to just kind of get better and to grow from the traumas that I've learned that weren't quite normal. Because I grew up in a very, very tough situation, and like even still to this day, some of my family still thinks that's normal. And it's
well, what else do they know? What else do they know?
Exactly.
They've known no different.
And it hurts me sometimes, because like when I try to give advice or give insight on the things that I've learned from doctors and resourceful people, because in a position that I'm in, I have a lot of resources, and I've tried to utilize those resources in order to better myself and also better my family. But when I do try to lend that advice or those resources, the information that I've gotten, it always seems like it's a negative. Like it comes back as, oh, you've changed. Why are you trying to change us?
I can relate to that, and I think a lot of people can really relate to that. And they don't mean it, right? They come from a place of trying to protect you. And I heard Jay say the other day, you think I worked this hard to stay the same? You're damn right I changed.
Bad.
But it changed for the better. But
yeah.
But I've come to realize that it's a little bit of a tragedy for me, because I'm a curious person. I like to learn, and philosophy, the word philosophy means a lover of wisdom and a lover of learning. And although in my day job I'm a risk manager and I'm a real estate developer, but in my heart I'm an artist, and I'm someone that wants to learn. And the more that I learn, the more that I'm conscious that I don't know, right? Like if we start talking about neurosurgery today, we don't know nothing about
Nothing
it.
about
But
it.
if we talk to a neurosurgeon,
What?
like, huh? But if
What
you
are
talk
we
to a neurosurgeon, they'll tell you this, that, and the other. But I would want to share the things that I was learning, just like you, with my family or close friends, and I'd get funny looks, or I'd not get the energy back that I was hoping. And I'm coming to there with a jewel, with something that I learned that I want to share, that I want to give.
And a place from love as
From a
well.
place of love, like deep love. And I've come to learn that some people just don't want it. And the old cliche is, you can take the horse to the water but can't make them drink. Cliches are cliches for a reason, though, right? There's,
it's happened multiple times.
Yeah, it's happened
over
times.
and over and over, and it isn't the first time that it's happened. So.
But you have to choose those things and, align yourself with the people that are aligned with you, that are in your truth, because the only absolute truth is the universal truth. That's the big man upstairs of whatever religion, creed you believe in. But I believe that you have to believe in something bigger than you, whatever that is, whether it's nature, whether it's Christ, whether it's Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam. I have friends of all religions, of all races, and that are people of God, that are people that believe in something, greater. But I found that the most productivity comes is when I can share those jewels with people that are of my same tribe, that are of my same, cut from my same cloth, and so that it'll be received. And then as it's received, it's reciprocated, because none of us have all the pieces to the puzzle, right?
At all.
So it's almost like we sit here together and there's a puzzle that we need to solve on life, and I open up my pocket, I'm like, I got that piece on the left. You're like, you got that one, I got the one that are right.
I got that one.
I got that one
there.
too. Let's switch that around. Hold on, give me, and you're trading pieces, but it has to be done from a place of openness, and different people are at different levels of their conscious development. And there's no bad or good. Like, you look at McDonald's as an example. If the checkout lady or the checkout gentleman, wasn't there to take your order, there would be no McDonald's. Not everybody can be, and so that's not a bad or good. That's not a lower station. Like, everybody is a piece of, that team. Or you look at sports, like, that everybody has to play their position. And I heard Sean the other day, say on Wolves, I've seen people, fuck up the whole team because they couldn't play their position.
Yeah.
And that's real, and that you have to pick those battles because not everybody is ready for the consciousness that you're at, to where they need to find the people that are at their level of consciousness at that moment. It's not that you're higher than they are or bigger than they are. The truth that you're in is just a different truth, and there's multiple truths.
Yeah.
We see that in, as an attorney, which was, my dad made me go to law school culturally. I didn't want to go to law school, but I took a $3,000 loan from one of my friends' fathers to start my company, and took out student loans, and started building single family houses, and things started to grow, and then got kicked in the teeth in 2008.
Hey,
I
think everybody got kicked in the teeth.
Yeah, man. But there's some of those hauntings, right? Like, there's those failures that you have in life that you can kind of look over, and then there's the ones that are so big that you still kind of wake up in the middle of the night screaming, right? It still kind of scare you. But I had a great partner that that let me go on my way. Gave me my money back. On paper, I should have walked away with, a lot more than I did for a kid that was delivering pizzas through college. But then went to Wall Street and spent my time out there and made all those mistakes. But I've come to learn that I need to align my time with the people that are in my own truth, that are walking the path that I'm walking on. And the people that aren't walking in my truth, they have my love. They have my respect. And as a society, just because we disagree doesn't mean that I don't respect you.
Exactly.
We can sit here and argue about the top 5 best rappers of all time, and but when we might be here for 5 hours, it doesn't mean that I respect your opinion. But we're gonna have some words, or whatever it is, or athletes. But as a society, that's come to mean that I hate you.
Yeah, I mean, and it's wrong. Like, because we can sit here and have a disagreement about the top 3, top 5 rappers, and then shake hands at the end and go have a drink.
Yeah,
but go have another conversation.
Yeah, and we see it in
something.
politics. We see it all over the place where it's become so polarizing and so divisive. And the real stupidity is, in the ancient days and in the Socratic days, they called it a dialectic. And, people would stand up and they'd give their opinion and they'd disagree, but it was in the disagreement that you found truth. Disagreement done elegantly and with respect breeds truth.
Yeah.
So we need disagreement. That's what makes this country, although we are, we have our flaws, that we have our stuff, obviously, all the way from the top down. But one of the things that makes this country great is our ability to disagree, is to have freedom of speech, is to peacefully protest, is to speak our minds, but there's a way that it's done in a productive manner to where that we can effectuate change, whatever that is, small or large, whether we're talking about discussing where we're gonna have dinner tonight, and like, you want Chinese food, and I wanna go eat, whatever, go eat Mexican food. It doesn't mean that,
we're not gonna eat.
Yeah, we're going to dinner. Like, we're going to dinner, but it's something that as a people we have to decide that, that we're going to do that respectfully.
Yeah.
And we all have the human condition. We all have the same needs. We all need love. We all experience death. We all experience time. And until the people start to understand that, and people like yourself that have come from very humble beginnings and seen extraordinary success and have a big platform, sharing with people that, it's not cool to do drugs, man. It's not cool to eat fast food. I drink my celery juice every morning and, eat your vegetables, and, we're watching this generation glorify things that shouldn't be glorified. People are working harder to look rich than to be rich.
Exactly. I mean, it's like people put this super high value on materials more than they put on life, love, health.
And it's sad. I mean, you look at a guy like Young Thug, who, one of the most arguably influential artists of the past, 5-7 years out of Atlanta, creating new sound. He was in the hospital for kidney failure.
Wow.
And luckily, he was okay and he made it out. I'm like, you don't have that level of kidney failure if you're eating properly and you're taking your vitamins, taking care of yourself. And we've lost some great ones. We lost Pimp C. I'm a Texas boy, and rest in peace. I mean, he had a heart problem. Was sipping too much syrup, and and we look at just the tragedy of all these young kids, and we can just keep Triple X. You just keep listing the names. Juice WRLD. I mean,
drugs.
You look at Mac. You look at all these, and it's these great talents going before their time, and it's time that people that have voices and that have platforms start recharacterizing, what that means. That's not cool.
It's not. I mean,
that's just not cool.
And in the media, it glorifies those things. It glorifies sipping syrup. It glorifies popping pills because it's what the people see. It's what the people rap about. What everybody's favorite rappers rapping about. Oh, who's sipping syrup? Who has the double cup? Who has
what
pills?
Rolls Royce or what this? They're not teaching the financial literacy that needs to happen. They're not teaching the truth.
Yeah.
Look, if you've become successful in your life and you've loved cars your whole life and you want to buy a Ferrari because you know everything about that Ferrari and that was your dream, God bless you. Go buy a Ferrari, enjoy it. You earned it. Like I'm not saying don't enjoy the luxuries, of life if you've earned them. And I'm not trying to win the health award by any stretch of the imagination, but my kids want to order pizza on Friday night, I'm eating pizza with them.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying my life, but during the week I'm eating sardines and salads and vegetables. I'm in the gym, and it's the 80-20 rule, right? Like you need to find enjoyment
and not having too much of something.
Well, one of my favorite quotes, so there's an author, his name is Somerset Maugham, and he was actually born in England, raised in France, and was a doctor. He wrote a book called The Razor's Edge, a bunch of stuff that he wrote, but he said something very interesting, and you've heard this before, but he kind of turned it on its head. You'll like it. He said, you should have moderation in all things, including moderation. So meaning you got to be a little moderately immoderate.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a good quote. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard that before, to be honest.
Yeah, but it's real in that sense of being moderately immoderate. So if you go out there and you did your stuff, you saw Brady drunk as hell coming out of the Super Bowl. But look, he was living his life, winning 7 rings, and you know they had to carry him out of the place. But God bless him, like he was enjoying his life.
He earned it.
He earned it.
I mean,
you know, doesn't mean you're drinking every day, but you know he's doing the work. But you know we have to find moderation in all of those things, you know, and these are fundamental truths, you know, the same truths that you know that you can see a Tibetan monk follow, see the life of Christ, see a professional athlete. Greatness follows natural law. There's a certain amount of hard work, period. You ain't getting around without hard work, and they don't see that. And you know, people talk to me about health a lot, and you know, those that know me know I take health very seriously.
I read that.
You know, you read that, and you know, Emerson was the one that said that, you know, health is wealth. And you know, look, you can have all the money in the world, all of a sudden you're Steve Jobs and have pancreatic cancer. What would you not pay to not have your life back, every dollar you had, right? Yeah. And too often we spend our lives, you know, chasing money, and then spend the next part of our lives trying to stay healthy to, you know, which is backwards. But those truths are truly fundamental in whatever we do, and having mutual respect for what that human condition is. But you ain't getting around it without hard work.
No,
you're just not. But to me, work is worship. My work is my worship. That's my contribution. You know, we've been given these gifts. All of us have them. Everybody has those gifts. And how are you going to use them to move things forward? That's the real question. Like, what are you going to do with it? Like, what is that going to mean? Like, you know, for me as a real estate developer, you know, we wanted to build something futuristic. We wanted to, you know, build this next generation of buildings that were in a post-COVID world, that have HEPA filters, that touchless entries, iris scans when you walk in, creating Instagrammable moments, and you know, creating something for Gen Z. Because I'm actually the oldest millennial, so I'm like J. Cole. I kind of sit I'm that middle child. You know, like I'm stuck in the middle. Like I'm the big bro to all the young kids, and the young kid to all the big insurance companies and public pension funds that are our partners. And but what's most important to me in my life at this point is making sure that I have conversations like this, you know, with gentlemen like yourself that that have big platforms that people look up to, rightfully, you know, for the right reasons, and showing people what actually is cool. Yeah. You know,
because I mean, you're a very successful man, and like you started from the bottom. Like you had to take out that loan in order to start your business, and now
you didn't have nothing.
And now you're one of the most successful real estate men in the world, like business owners. And people don't understand the fact that it was a grind. People don't understand the grind because they don't see it.
Well, they don't see it, and shame on me for not telling them, you know. And you know, the people that are around me, you know, I got friends that'll tell you in 6th grade that we were going to do this. You know, I got, you know, our chief architect in our firm, we've been friends 30 years.
Wow.
You know, so I guess it only took me, you know, 20 to 30 years to become an overnight success, right?
Hey.
You know, but no days off. You know, Bill Gates said, you know, I didn't take one day off in my 20s, not one. You know, and there's a level of grind that that you have to do, but I firmly believe that willpower is finite. It runs out. And so if you look at Steve Jobs or you look at Zuckerberg and those guys, they wear the same thing every day. And science has proved that we only have a certain amount of good decisions that we can make in a day. And that's why you see someone who got drunk the night before swear they'll never drink alcohol again, but by the evening they're back in the bar. And that's not necessarily a psychological thing. That has to do with the decisions that you make throughout the day. So if you can save one good decision by not worrying about what you're going to wear in the morning, that's one decision that you can be using for your business. You know, and so 20 years in this of never taking a day off. Not that I would recommend that to anybody, because you got to be a little sick in the head. You know, but I was on a mission. You know, I know that, you know, I need my life to be, you know, to mean something. I need to build something for my children. And my grandfather, you know, was an Iranian immigrant, and, you know, big shoes. Actually, yesterday was the 24th anniversary of the 24th year of his passing, and, you know, he literally died in my arms and had 7 gold medals in the Iranian kind of National Olympics. He was a psychiatrist. He taught at the university at nights. He was a poet, 3 different languages. I mean, this dude was just, you know, advisor to the Shah of Iran, and, you know, it's just such a big human being. And I met him, you know, when he had left his country and lived in a small little apartment, but he still had his mind, you know, and the reason I put my name on the door, he reminded me all the time, that's not my name. You know,
It's his name.
It's his or his father's.
Yeah.
His father's. And to put some respect on that name, you know, and remember, as we do things, that we stand on the shoulders of giants. And a lot of times we want to take credit for the successes or whatever that we have, but that's not the truth either. You know, like you had a mother, or a father, or a mentor, or a great coach, or teachers, or friends, and people along the way that blessed you, you know, just genetically, you know, be able to be here and have the genetic makeup. And of course you did the work, and of course you're in the gym, but not everybody's born with LeBron's genetics. It doesn't make you LeBron, but, you know, he was blessed with that, you know, and but he put in the work to do it. But this all comes down to hard work. And, you know, you've heard some of the great sages say, the harder I work, the luckier I get.
I heard that.
You know, but definitely that element people miss. They just see the glory. They just see the Rolls Royces, and they see the planes, and they see the bread, and but the ones that have really done it, you know, there was trouble. You know, there was problems. Like there's videos of Travis Scott, you know, performing in front of, you know, 12 people.
I actually went to Travis Scott, one of Travis Scott's frat house concerts. He had a concert at the Fiji House.
Probably getting paid $400 or $200 to go.
At UT, he had a concert. I actually have it on video still. Honestly, I saved it. It was when I first got my iPhone. It was the iPhone 5. I got it in 2014.
That shit was lit.
2013 at the Fiji House, February 2013 at the Fiji House.
And look at Astroworld now.
And it was lit. Like the energy,
he had it,
same.
But he didn't stop. And you know, you look at a lot of these people. Like you look at Russ, you know. And I remember when he dropped a song called Manifest, and a lot of people hate on Russ, which I have a little bit of a problem with. I think he's a very special man, and Mike Stud also, and some of these up and coming guys that have gone independent, and you know, these are special people that are working very, very hard against big monsters. You know, there's big enemies that they're fighting, but if you go back and look at some of their old tweets and some of their old stuff, they had a plan. Like they knew where they were going, you know, and Travis was the same way. Like, I have a lot of respect for him because he wasn't scared to do those shows and to keep showing up. And, you know, then all of a sudden, you know, you have a sicko mode, and then you have a, you know, an Astroworld tour. And, you know, I think, you know, his show is still one of the most remarkable live shows ever. Like it's something that you can't understand unless you experience it. It's a visceral experience. And, you know, I don't necessarily like all of his music, but the craft and the thoughtfulness,
the creative process is just.
Yeah, Kanye the same way. Like on the Pablo tour, you know, the way that he was on that moving stage, and I mean, the energy that just came off of there was just something that was infectious,
Yeah.
you know, that just makes you feel a certain way. And you can get that from a great book, like whether you're reading Shakespeare or whether, you know, you're watching Serena Williams. I mean, you're watching greatness. Like, you're watching something that is not normal. But something that I learned recently you'll like, there's a book called The Talent Code. And those who haven't read it, I highly recommend it. And we hear about this concept called muscle memory, right? And so science has shown that it's actually myelin memory. What's myelin? Back in 7th grade, we learned about the myelin sheath, which was the protective covering of your nerves, right?
Yeah.
And so they gave an interesting statistic that there's never been a gold medalist runner in the Olympics that wasn't a second, third, or fourth child. I thought, what's that? Like, how's that even possible?
Yeah.
Like, how's that even possible? Well, if you think about it, you know, if you have an older brother or sister, what were you doing when you were 2 years old? Chasing them.
Yeah.
So before you even knew it, you were hitting that 10,000 hours of running.
Yeah.
And so there's no motivation in the world like running after your little brother or little sister, you know, or trying to keep up. So, you know, or Mozart, you know, his father was a concert pianist, and they're very poor, and he'd hold him in his arms when he was, you know, a little baby, and he'd be playing with one hand. And so by the time he was, you know, 18 months old, standing there on the thing, he was already hitting the keys. And so he was composing things at, you know, 6 years old, 7 years old, but there was 7 years behind that. Kobe's dad was, you know, one of the best, you know, basketball players in the European League. You know, like, you go back and, like, there's reasoning behind a lot of this greatness. Of course, there's outliers out there that have done it, but, you know, we can't make decisions based on outliers. You know, we have to follow the generalizations around how greatness is created, but greatness is grown. You know, greatness is something that we create on a daily basis through curiosity, through hard work, through great conversations. But you build these people. Like, we build ourselves. You are your asset. You are your asset. You know, it's like I think of it like a trunk of a tree. You know, and the branches are the business, or the branches are the, you know, or the rings that you win, or the athleticism, or, but there's a reason why when you're on an airplane, you know, they say, you know, put the oxygen mask over your face for the ones before you, and that always kind of fucked me up a little bit. I'm like, well, hold on, like, there's a little kid next to me, but one day it clicked. I'm like, oh, like, if I take care of me, that's not selfish, that's actually humble. By taking care of me first, then I can help other people.
Makes sense.
You know, and at first it just never really clicked. And then one day I was like, oh, that's it. So, you know, the days I have to be away from my children or be away from, you know, my loved ones, you know, I'm putting the oxygen mask on my face, you know, and I've come to learn that I do that humbly, not selfishly, so that I can do more and continue to do more. And all the greats have done that. You watch them be unselfish with the ball when the time came. You know, you're watching, you know, greatness happen in basketball all around. I mean, you watch what LeBron did with the Lakers recently. You watch what Brady did with the Bucks. I mean, the epitome of being unselfish. You know, life is team sports. Life is not tennis.
Yeah.
You know, anybody that says they did it alone, it's all cap.
It's all cap.
All cap. You didn't do nothing alone. You didn't do nothing alone. You just didn't. It's just not true.
It can't be possible. You have family, you have friends, you have mentors, you have coaches. Like, if you're an athlete, you have coaches, you have a support team,
trainers,
all
athletes. I mean, there's teammates, and it all, you know, combines, and that goes back to the fundamental word of unity. You know, and unity is, I think, where is our fundamental problem as a world, is we forget that unity literally unites. I mean, the root of United States or any of these things is unity. And it just is. and this is how we become. You look at the most successful people in the world, these are big companies with all these different moving parts of people, of technology. That's unity. Yeah. That's harmony.
Bill Gates didn't do it by himself. He had a team.
Yeah, Steve Wozniak. I mean,
Yeah.
or Steve Wozniak with Steve Jobs, or Paul Allen, or there never is one. I mean, that's just, and it's every example. You think Amazon is just Jeff Bezos?
No,
There's hundreds of thousands of employees.
Or Elon Musk, just Tesla, SpaceX.
No, there's more people, and that's, and we look at all the greats. Look at the Hadid family. Look at Bella and Gigi. I mean, their grandma Yolanda Hadid is one of the most famous architects ever. She designed one of the most beautiful buildings, here in Miami. And there's this talent is grown. We stand on the shoulders of these giants, and we can learn these things in books. And I'll tell you, I love YouTube. And
It's a library.
YouTube. I mean, in this world, I can literally, and I do this. You can go on MIT's YouTube channel and watch the greatest professors in the world teach anything: quantum physics, biology, math, English, for free.
You gotta go to school.
Literally, I'll go on there. I'm curious about, I love quantum physics. It's one of my things. I'm big into transcendental meditation, and it's been something that's been very healing for me. Living a life that has had a lot of stress.
Yeah.
But learning how to meditate and calm, and I actually came from a meditation retreat before being here with you, and there's unity even within meditation and within the world of science. There's 180 universities that have studied transcendental meditation and the effects on the brain and how it affects your hormone levels, how it lowers cortisol, how it actually has physiological, benefits. And it all goes back to those fundamental rules. Like, you look at the Spurs, I mean, grew up a Mavericks fan, being in Dallas, and so we had to live through the years of Ginobili and Duncan and Tony Parker. And it was just, it's tough years.
Yeah.
But it was fundamental basketball. It was boringer than hell. but Pop knew he had the formula. He knew this is what it is. You look at Messi. You can always count on Messi to hit that short pass.
Oh yeah.
No matter what, he'll never miss it. Every single time he'll hit that short pass. 100 out of 100. It just is what it is. But it goes back to those fundamental traits, that come down to whether that's going to be what's going to help heal social injustice, and whether that's going to help the next, future NBA All-Star. It's all following the same natural rules. There are rules, and they can't be violated. And one of them is personal integrity. The promises you keep to yourself and being authentic.
Yeah.
We keep promises to other people because there's a consequence. So if I tell you I'm gonna meet you at the gym at 6 a.m. and don't show up, you're gonna be like, oh, he's an asshole. But if I tell myself I'm gonna go to the gym at 6 a.m. and don't show up, who's there to hold me accountable?
Yeah.
Except me. But that's what breeds this, lack of self-love, this lack of self-respect, is because if you personify that person as being someone else that I'm making a promise to, and I don't keep that promise, that's when you fall into the place that you don't want to be. So to me, just being you, being authentic, mask off.
Always.
Mask off. I mean, just take it off and be you, and not everybody's gonna like it, but that's okay.
I mean, in this world, not we, because a lot of people are so fixated on pleasing others and not themselves.
That's right.
Like, I had this conversation yesterday on the podcast with Anthony Harris, one of my good friends. I trained with him, and he's a great guy, and he works super hard. And we've been out to clubs together, we've been on boats together, and the whole nine. And it's just we notice that people often do things that don't please them, but makes them seem a bit higher on the social aspect or the social scale to please other people, not themselves. Like going out, like we talked about, going out to clubs and you go buy, you'll spend some money.
We're all guilty of it.
You go spend a couple $1,000s and you might get 2 or 3 drinks, and everybody else is
mooching off you.
Mooching off of you. and you're like, all right, you go home and you're like, all right, I'm good, but like I'm not happy. Like I'm not satisfied.
And you know,
I'm not fulfilled.
And you said, I'm so happy you said that word, fulfilled. So there's a difference between success and fulfillment. Success is actually a science. It's 1 + 2 = 3. I'll give you an example. College. There's a syllabus. There's a curriculum. You take this class, this class, this class, this class, you get a college degree. That's a science. Fulfillment is an art. There's no model. You have to find it. You have to do the inner work and create your own mural of what that's going to be. Look at Robin Williams, man. Robin Williams, the funniest, one of the most brilliant, amazing human beings that ever walked this earth, fucking hung himself. The epitome of success. He won Academy Awards for being funny and won an Academy Award for being a bad guy. Best, sitcoms all the way to film. I mean, some of our, best movies ever. If you haven't watched Hook or, What Dreams May Come, or, I mean, that's great. I mean, like, he's just this illustrious, beautiful man. He hung himself because he didn't have fulfillment. He could make everybody else happy, make everybody else laugh, make everybody else smile except himself. And I think that's the great tragedy right now. And technology is a double-edged sword, right? So technology and innovation move the world forward, and we need it, no question. But we need to start utilizing it
in a better way, for sure. Because you see what success looks like, but you don't see what fulfillment is. Fulfillment and success are two different things on the scale.
They're totally different. It's like apples and oranges, man. And there's people that aren't successful but are very fulfilled. You go to, and this is again science. You can go to these little tribes in the middle of South America or in Africa or in these tribal areas. These people are smiling, laughing. They ain't got a dime. They ain't got no food, but you're laughing and joking. They have fulfillment. So it's not money. Like, it's not, look, is there certain simple luxuries of life, of electricity, of running water, certain things that, we desire and that we should want? Sure. In the old movie Wall Street, Gordon Gekko gives that big speech, greed is good. If you haven't watched Wall Street, it was, one of the classics.
Not Wolf of Wall Street.
Not Wolf of Wall Street. Not Wolf of Wall Street. That came later. Yeah. And Jordan Belfort's another animal, and whatever. Not my style. But but there's a speech that he gives. You can watch on YouTube called "Greed is Good," and it talks about how greed for life, greed for success. And I don't think it was the right word, but the desire for more is what moves the human race forward. I don't think greed is the right word. Because it has too much baggage that comes with it. But the desire to expand, the desire to give more, the desire to contribute, the desire for us to build more buildings, to house more people, the desire to be a better entertainer, to write that next great record, or, catch that great, that posterizing dunk. I saw Jackson Hayes the other day just yam on someone, and it was just like, and I'm just watched it, and I watched it with my kids, and he's been at our house a lot. He's one of the most beautiful, kindest human beings you'll ever meet in your life. I mean, just a beautiful man. He's so elegant, so kind, and you can tell a lot about a man or a woman by how they treat children.
Oh yeah.
And just how they feel around them, because kids aren't stupid, man.
No.
Yeah, they know. Kids aren't stupid.
So smart, man.
And like when Donovan, Donovan, a dear friend of mine, he runs our kind of entertainment platform. We have a lot of celebrity athlete, investors that have come with us along our journey. And when Donovan first came to our house, my 1-year-old grabbed his little finger and was walking around with him, and watch and say, you know what, it's a good judge of character. Children, they know. We treat them as if they don't know, but they do. They know more than, because they're still pure.
Yeah.
They haven't, learned the bad stuff.
No.
They don't need to unlearn yet. They're still light. And that's our challenge, as we mentioned earlier, is we think that we need to learn more, but that's actually not true. We need to unlearn, because we have it. You're already it.
Yeah.
You have to just get all that propaganda, all that McDonald's, that's marketing.
Yeah.
It's just marketing. And the news, right? They're in the business of eyeballs, of getting more eyeballs. And I'm not hating on their business, but that's what it is. It's shock therapy. They need you to watch more, so they're putting on killer wasps and this, that, and the other, or whatever it is that's going to keep your eyeballs. They're running a business. I don't necessarily agree with the agenda, but that's my opinion. And opinions are like, we all got them.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Jeff Bezos talks about two different kinds of businesses. There's missionaries and mercenaries. And if you're out for it just for the money, whether as an athlete or whether as a business person, you won't last long.
No.
You just won't. But if you're there to win rings, you're there to be a part of a team, you're there to put in the work, you'll last. And that's business, or that's sports, or if you're a musician or an artist, if you're prolific and you're there, talent can't be hidden for long.
No.
Not real talent. And they talk about how talent can hit a target that no one can hit. Genius can hit a target that no one can see.
Ooh. That's a gem right there. Dang, genius can hit a target you can't see.
Yep, and talent can hit a target that you can't hit. But to me, that genius, the difference between the genius and that Einstein, about genius, and he said genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration.
Man, you are a man of quotes for sure. Like you read a lot. I know.
I love books, man. I love books because they can take me on a journey for very inexpensive. I don't have to get on a plane.
Yeah.
And you can go on Amazon and a lot of the greatest books in the world you can literally get for free on Amazon if you pay the $3.99 shipping. And I like used books myself, and maybe I'm old school like that because I like to read the underlines. Like the used books, sometimes there's a jewel that someone else had read.
Underlined it.
Yeah, they're like, oh wow, that was hot, and I'll order 2-3 copies of the same book, and because I end up underlining it so damn much I can't even read it anymore. But but I'm a curious person, and books are a great way. Or YouTube or audiobooks or whatever. You have to know your language, like of how you learn, because some of us are auditory, some of us are visual learners, and you need to have self-awareness to know how you can learn. And I've loved watching this medium of podcasts proliferate because there's a lot of people that don't like to read, or they weren't, but reading is a skill. It's like plumbing. Like, my wife will tell me, you read that book in, 2 hours. Like, it would have taken me, 4 days. But I've also, been reading 10, 15 books a week for 25 years, right? Literally.
That's a lot of books.
But that's the work. People think the work is sitting in there in meetings and this, that, and the other. That's not the work for me.
Yeah.
The work is in the reading. The work is in learning and making sure that my best self is that, that I'm showing up. So when I give you those quotes, they're not mine. Like I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. I get to experience, with Marco Polo, all the greatest things he saw across the world, or learn about culture and learn about history, and for $1.
Easy, not inexpensive at the most.
At most. And people talk about eating healthy and this, that, and the other, and LeBron spent $1 million a year on his health and all those, and as he should, because his body and his physicality is how he gets paid. But to reap 80-90% of the benefits is not that expensive. Like eating sardines, for example. There was a horrible marketing campaign around sardines when we were growing up. Everybody thought sardines were nasty. They actually taste amazing. Those of you that don't eat sardines, for the love of God, go buy them. They're vegetarian fish in a little can about this big. It's about $1.50.
I used to get them we used to walk, like as a kid, we used to walk to Family Dollar and get sardines, the ones with the hot sauce and the regular ones.
There you go. And you peel open the can, and by the way, 40 grams of protein, perfect balance of 369 omegas for $1.
I didn't even understand, like, only reason I ate them is because my brother came home with them one time, and I mean they taste.
It tastes like tuna, and by the way, it actually is less fishy than tuna. So like, you know, I'll go in there and like days that I'm, you know, really grinding, I'm in my zone, I'll forget to eat, which is often. You know, I'll just come in and I'll just open a can of sardines with a fork, just eat it. I got 40 grams of protein, got all the oils and a good olive oil, boom, I'm good. You know, or I'll just, you know, grab a handful of spinach out of the fridge, throw a little olive oil, throw some sardines, or open up a can of salmon from Costco, wild salmon.
Yeah.
Just eat that down, and I'm at what, $2.40, and I just ate arguably a perfect meal. You know, and so it does. You know, look, and I pay my chef, you know, to make some, you know, cucumber spaghetti with this, that, and the other, and homemade chimichurris. Sure, but that's that 2% difference. Like, I can get 80-90% of the benefit, as can anybody who's listening to this, whether it's on the YouTube, whether it's just buying a sardine for little things at Costco. And if you don't think we're at Costco every week, you know, trust me, we're there. You know, and they have a great organic section, you know, and so to say, oh, it's too expensive to, you know, eat healthy, and too expensive to whatever.
It's cheaper than going out to eat or Uber Eats. I promise you that.
I mean, way cheaper. I mean, it's actually not even comparable. And they say, well, you know, I want to work out, but I gotta, you know, I don't have $200 to pay a trainer. Well, you can go on YouTube. Best trainers in the world are on YouTube doing free courses where you just get a little mat right there, and you go online and buy 2 dumbbells for $10, and you're working out with one of the best trainers in the world.
Yeah, for free.
For free. And so what I'm saying is, like, but you know, one thing I'm convinced that you can't teach, and I hope I'm wrong about this, by the way, and I'm looking forward to the day to being wrong about what I'm about to say. 2 things you can't teach. One is hunger and ambition. I've seen people that have it, people that don't. It's very, and I've yet to see it, and I really hope I'm wrong on this. That ambition can be taught, ambition to grow, not the negative ambition of, you know, to conquer something for your own desire, but ambition to do something great that contributes. And the other is authenticity.
I agree, honestly. Like,
I don't know how you can teach authenticity. Either you're going to be authentic, or you're not. Like, we have it inside of us, but we have to peel it away. But you can't fake authenticity. You know, you can fake all sorts of things, you know, but being sincere and being authentic, people feel it, as you mentioned. Like, it radiates off of you in a way. It doesn't matter what the words are. We've all had that experience where, you know, someone walks into the room and maybe they say all the right words. You're like, I don't like that guy.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't really feel it.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it. Or it's a pitch, or someone's pitching you on an investment, and all the numbers look right, everything looks right. And I've done it before, and I've looked at deals, and my analysts have been like, these numbers are fire. Like, this is a good deal. And I'll go walk the property, and I'm like, nah.
I'm good.
Like, well, what do you mean? Like, you know, whatever. Maybe I was right, maybe I was wrong. I don't know. But I wasn't feeling it. And there's been times that I've looked at deals and the numbers weren't exactly where we thought it was, but I felt something there, and those ones we were right.
Yeah. Of course.
You know, we backed into them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be able to trust. People say trust your gut.
Yeah.
And that comes from, there's actually more neurons in your gut and your intestines than are in your brain. Your gut is your second brain. 70% of your immune system actually exists in your intestines. It's why you get that feeling if you're walking through a dark alley, that all of a sudden you feel that fear in your gut. You don't know, you don't see something, but your instinct, your authenticity can sense energy. And we've been taught to trust logic over our gut instinct. And very often our gut is right.
Yeah.
And we have to learn or unlearn. Not to say that we shouldn't, Ronald Reagan would say, trust and verify.
Yeah.
You know, right? And so, you know, we should trust our gut and learn to listen to our heart and listen to our gut. But that doesn't mean you don't run the financial model and make sure that you're right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying to run out of here like a crazy person.
There's data, but then there's your gut. I mean,
And you go both ways, and you should be able to listen to it, and remembering that, like we said, that this is team sports. You know, you need people, and as men in this world, you know, we've been trained not to share our feelings, not to be vulnerable. And there's a great TED Talk called "The Power of Vulnerability" that you and I were speaking about a little bit earlier. That I urge everybody to watch. It's free. It's on YouTube, and the greatest power comes from when you can be vulnerable. And because a lot of times when we have a big goal, we go share it with someone that we care about or is a good friend, and they're like, come on now, you know, and goals like that are very fragile at the beginning. They're like little babies, like an embryo. They need to be nurtured, or a plant seed. They need to be watered and grown until they get strong. When they start to flourish and someone says something bad about it, you don't care, you can brush it off. But at that beginning, you need to be able to share that with people that are going to nurture it with you, that are going to get you the right soil, that are going to help you water it, or that you can come to and be able to say, you know, why not?
Yeah.
You know, on my mirror for the longest time, I don't know why I took it down, but for many, many years it said, if not us, then who? If not now, then when? You know? And for me, even being with you here today, I happen to be in Miami, and you know, have a dinner with one of my dear friends who's an investor later on tonight, and if not now, then when? You know, and then you were gracious enough to make time and, you know, find a place for us to be able to talk and have a great conversation. And but all we have is this moment, right?
Exactly.
You know, it's
We're
living it. You know, the future's a promise, the past is gone. You know, so when that opportunity comes, and I found in my life that one meeting I didn't want to go to because I was tired, magic happened. And that one extra day you showed up when you were tired to the gym, you got that rep in, or, you know, the countless other experiences that you had when you pushed through, and learning to be comfortable being uncomfortable. You know, that's so much of, you know, we look for comfort. We call it comfort food.
Yeah.
You know, it's
comfort food, and it's like not even good food for you.
Not even close. and you know, grandma didn't, you know, she wanted you to eat the cake and the cookies and the milk, and it comes from love, but she didn't know any different. That's what her grandma gave her, right? You know,
exactly.
And it comes from a place of love. But comfort food, ain't no comfort food that's good for you. It's by definition, it's fried, or it's this, and it tastes good. It's
with gravy, you know.
And I love it. And trust me, I'm gonna eat my comfort food of my days that I can, like just like everybody else. But learning to be uncomfortable, I think, is one of the greatest pillars of success in anything. Is putting yourself in uncomfortable situations. And like in the gym as an example, that last rep, you're on your 8th rep, and you know your arms are shaking, you got your spotter, you know as an athlete, it's those last 2 reps, right?
They're tough, and like
that's when the growth happens though, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like when you're straining, when you're at that point of lactic failure, when your lactic acid has built up and you can't go anymore, you gotta keep fighting it. Because once you keep fighting it, that's when growth happens.
You get a breakthrough.
Yeah.
And then you get another goal and another thing. And it's the same mentally, physically. Again, these are fundamental laws. The same with the business, the meetings, getting up. And I mean, my alarm goes off. You know, 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. You think I want to get my ass out of bed? Hell no. You know, but I get up and, put my feet on the ground, and you start moving, and just start to find some peace in that uncomfort, and, be uncomfortable.
And then take it to the next level.
And
once you find comfort in that one spot, keep going. Find the next spot.
Find the next spot, and always be on the brink of failure, if not always failing. Put yourself in those situations where you're right at that edge where you're going to fail, because that's when growth happens. Failure, if you take failure and you look deep into it, my book's coming out in June, called The Gift of Failure. And I'm sure a lot of people were like, gift? Gift? How was that? Didn't I just lose everything I had? But it's only a gift if you go back and look at it, like we talked about, if there was that pass that was dropped, or the play that didn't go the way you thought it was, you go back and watch the film, like, are you going to look at it with honest eyes?
Yeah. Are you going to make an excuse about it?
No, it wasn't me, whatever, I slipped up.
He threw the ball too short.
Yeah, you think it was too short, or are you going to, put that, self-reliance on yourself and find out what you could have done different. At the beginning of the book, the first couple lines of the book are, I hope you fail. In fact, I hope you fail a lot.
Because, success is
failure.
98% failure?
Something like that. Some big number. It ain't no 50-50, I'll tell you that much. It ain't no 50-50. You look at like baseball, right? And the irony is, I'm not a big sports guy. I watch my family that are investors or dear friends, and I'm watching them. I'm rooting for them and their families. I'm not watching sports, or I'm watching greatness, as you know, because I'm a student of greatness in any endeavor. If you're great, I want to know how you did it. Yeah, I'm watching.
I want to know your reaction.
I want to know your reaction.
I want to know how you're preparing and the things that you're doing when you're performing. Because everybody has their tendencies. Everybody has their reactions to certain things.
Their habits, their beliefs.
When you miss a shot, when you make a shot.
And you can watch that face.
How you're supporting your teammates and so on.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. It's like that, that iconic, moment when Kobe was standing there and the guy took the ball, remember, and tried to throw it in his face. And he didn't even flinch, he didn't even move. And you're just watching a stone cold killer, just in action, that Mamba mentality, rest in peace. You're watching that thing actually happen, but these are things that are learned day in, day out. You don't become healthy by eating that one great meal. It's a never-ending process, and I think what people miss a lot, or what I missed a lot, was being very goal-oriented. And I was talking to Clinton about this the other day. You have to have your goal. Yes, there's no question. You have to know where you're going, because if you don't know where you're going, how are you going to know that you got there?
Yeah.
You're aimless, literally. Okay, so you got to have a goal. But the other part of it that's not spoken about enough is also being goalless. So it sounds like a paradox. It sounds like it doesn't make sense. But there's a certain part of the process that you have to find peace in the process of sitting up there. If it's your player is shooting free throws every day, or look at Ray Allen, like what he would do in the off season. Greatest 3-pointer shooter of all time. We'll see if Steph, comes up there. I got a lot of love for Steph, and especially with the injuries that he had early in his career, and having ankle problems and overcoming them, and doing things that are just
literally one of the most dynamic players in the league.
And does it with a smile, and right. And so we'll see if he passes Uncle Ray, because that buzzer beater that Ray.
Buzzer beater.
Oh my! I'll never forget that moment for the rest of my life. They were already bringing out the trophies for the other team, and he just drained it. It was just, and so there's those clutch hits, whatever. But if you look at his off-season regimen, it wasn't human. The amount of training that went into being able to do that and hit that shot with, a second left on the clock, that's not an accident. No. None of that's an accident.
Preparation.
Yeah, they say, what's the old cliche, luck is when preparation meets opportunity, and there's a lot of truth in that, but there's also a lot of actual luck and grace. I can delineate in my life, moments when I worked for it. I put in the hours and we got it done because I grinded through it. But then there's moments when I know it was grace. I couldn't be planned to be born in Austin, Texas. biggest boom city in the last 100 years, the next San Francisco. Now we're one of the largest owners in the whole daggone city, you know, and we're quite literally building a city south of Austin on 320 acres where we're going to build what I'm calling futuristic suburbanism, the future of what housing will be. And we have some of the greatest creative minds, you know, not only in real estate but in entertainment, that when people know who are helping me design that, they'll be pleasantly surprised.
Oh yeah.
Big minds, big geniuses
Huge,
that are huge. But it's going to be, but my point in telling you all that is I couldn't have planned that. Was I able to capitalize on it? Did I work hard? Sure. But, you know, it wasn't long ago that my mom and I, and our rent was $180 a month in Austin. You know, fast forward a couple of years, there used to be this little artist community called Slackerville. And people asked me where I learned about business, because I was an English major lawyer, so I still count on my fingers. I mean, you know, 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion, 4 billion, but you know.
Yeah, it's billions.
Just billions, but I count on my fingers still, right? You know, but there's this little artist community, and they would make like friendship bracelets and trinkets and pottery, and you know, Austin's a hippie town. You know, it's keep Austin weird.
Keep Austin weird.
Keep Austin weird.
It's been that.
It's been that, right? It was, and you know, the music festivals and great food, and you know, that's what's the allure of Austin has been, right? And so, you know, we go yard sailing. So people ask me where I learned business. I learned business yard sailing. With my mom, we go yard sailing, we go haggle, and we go figure out value and pricing. Me and my dad, and we'd go out too, and you know, Saturday and Sundays, we went yard sailing. And we go buy the yard sale, and we'd hold our own yard sale until we get one up the price, and you know, whatever. But we'd go to this one spot in Austin. There was this artist community, and about a year and a half ago, I bought the land for $10 million. Wow. And then I bought the lot next door, and I bought the 2 houses behind it, and I bought the parking lot next to it, and we aggregated it. And now we're building 104 condos, and you know, sold the property and, you know, kept the profit participation interest with one of the biggest public pension funds in the world, one of the biggest developers in the world, and we're literally enhancing that community. And I remember when our rent was $180, you know, and that wasn't too long ago. And that first piece of land was $10 million. Forget about the rest of it, and that's grace to me. You know, be able to look back and see those pictures of us being there, and you know, spending 25 cents to buy a friendship bracelet, and then turn it into what it's going to be now, which is going to be one of the most beautiful developments in Austin. It's going to be just an iconic piece of real estate. You know, the partners that are putting it together just have so much integrity and so much heart, and the renderings are so beautiful. And it's just this unbelievable project that this area really needs. And
what area in Austin is it?
It's on South First. It's right on South First in Live Oak, and the name of the project is One Oak. Okay. And one of the reasons it's called that is there's a 350-year-old oak tree on the property. And literally, we think it's 350 years old. Maybe even older. And in Austin, you can't cut down trees.
Yeah, no.
They don't mess around. You'd have to hold a public hearing. They would have caused a revolution. But you wouldn't want to. This is literally like arguably older than America.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's at the corner of Live Oak and South First, just outside of downtown. And it's going to be a beautiful thing that people will be able to see, and you know, this tree they'll be able to enjoy, this outer space. And that's just one of the 7 developments we're breaking ground on this year. We're building over 2 million square feet of real estate this year. You know,
that's a lot. That's a lot of land.
We're just getting started, bro.
That's a lot of land.
You know, I tell people, you know, it's, you know, what is it in the iconic words of the famous Puff Daddy? Can't stop, won't stop.
Hey, can't stop, won't stop. Man.
Can't stop, won't stop. And I'm sure we could do this forever.
Yeah, I mean, but before we go, I would like to hear more about your book, like,
sure,
like failure, because like we've talked about, people don't really see the failure. We talked about the percentage of like we talked about the theoretical percentage of it being 98%,
whatever it is. We know that there's more failure than there is success.
Yeah.
That's something, I'm so glad you brought that up. As a people, especially those of us that have been blessed with success, you know, because it is a blessing, and, you know, heavy is the head that wears the crown, right? You know, it's a lot of responsibility. You know, you can use it for good, you can use it for bad. But don't let all this glitz and glam fool you. You know, real success comes with catastrophic, life-changing failure, stuff that you cannot scrape yourself off the ground, that literally, you know, Mike Tyson said, you know, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. And we need to show that more. We need to show our youth, show our, you know, our colleagues, our contemporaries, whether it's, you know, new people coming into the league, that you're going to fail and you're going to get hit. Yeah. And you're going to get hit hard to the point where you don't think you can get back up, and you have to. And I've experienced that, you know, but you fail forward. John Maxwell, who I have a lot of respect for, you know, unbelievable speaker, unbelievable author, you know, that's his term, fail forward. And it's time that we start to illuminate and recharacterize what failure is. Because when we think failure, you think bad.
Yeah.
That's not true. That's just not true.
Yeah.
It's a lie. Failure, inside of every failure, is the seed or the potential of an equal or greater success. But we have to look at it with honest eyes. And for this next generation, people like yourself, we have to show that. You know, instead of showing the moments on the Instagram where we hit that big rep on the whatever, why don't you show the one where you drop the fucking bar?
Yeah.
You know, why don't you show the clip where you're running drills and you slipped and fell on your ass, which you did.
Yeah.
Which we all do. Of course it happens. Of course it happens. We all know that as elite performers in our respective fields, and I think we need to take it upon ourselves to start showing that. And I've seen a lot of very courageous women. I don't know much about social media, honestly. I learned recently that I had a verified Instagram account from my brother, and I couldn't post a story to save my life, so I'm starting to learn how to use that stuff. So I guess I'm an old man in that world, but I think that it's time that, you know, we show what these bodies really look like, because we've caused body dysmorphia in a lot of ways with photoshopping. And, you know, the UK has actually been very forward thinking in this and banning a lot of photoshopping and stuff because, you know, causing a lot of trouble for young girls. But, you know, seeing a lot of these courageous young women, you know, show their bodies without makeup, and show their bodies before Photoshop, or how they look in the morning, or just showing the real beautiful female figure. Yeah. You know, it's not this exact curvature, you know, carved out plastic surgery, and, you know, and that's woman. Yeah. You know, that's a beautiful woman, you know, whether it's you have a little bit of cellulite or this or that or whatever, but you're a mother, you've birthed children, like there's so much beauty in that. You're a queen. Like, I mean, you're a queen. Worship, hands down. Like, if the world was left for men to have babies, there'd be no human race. No, not at all. So hands down, all the ladies out there, we are not worthy. We never will be. Like, my wife, you know, birthed, you know, 3 angels, and she made it look like it was nothing. She didn't even break a sweat. And I'm thinking to myself, Lord have mercy. I almost fainted watching. Yeah, I could do it. But, you know, there's been a lot of courageous women that have been out there and been themselves. Like, I have a lot of respect for Lizzo, you know, for being herself. Yeah, and 100%. just doing her. Yeah, not unapologetically. Not caring what people think. Unapologetically. This is me. And setting the standard, like setting a natural standard for women, for people. That they don't have to be like this perfect Barbie figure, you know what? But, you know, that's just one example, right? And whether it's our athletes showing, like, you know, I see, you know, Steph hit those crazy threes, like, I know you missed some. Dude.
You gotta miss some.
You missed some. Like, you did. Like, where's that? Like, I want to see that. Like, I want to see, you know, I want to see LeBron trip walking in the locker room. Like, I want to see humanity. Because that's the truth.
It is.
So use this technology for both. Do I want to see those crazy jumpers too? Yes. Yeah. But I'd also like to see...
Let me see him miss a shot.
Yeah, let me see you, you know, and The Rock sometimes, who, you know, who I have a lot of respect for, like, he'll show his cheat meals.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was really cool. Like, he'll be like, I'm eating sushi and this and that.
Then he got the big stack of pancakes.
Yeah, pancakes with syrup.
And all that.
And always, I always made me smile because it was like, you know what? Like, you watch him in the gym, and every day he's in the gym, he's doing the work, but he hasn't been scared to show that he eats cheat meals too. Like, he eats that kind of stuff, and that's just one example of the right way to do it, in my opinion. You know, I've started sharing that stuff more, so that we can give the right message, let people know that. Like I said in my book, I hope you fail a lot, you know, because God knows I have, and I hope I fail more. I'm ready.
Hey.
I'm ready.
Same.
Take me.
I am ready.
I'm ready. Like, throw the punch. I'm right there. Like, I ain't moving.
It's a building block. It is a building.
It's a building block, because if I go after it big and it's worth doing and it's important enough, I'll regret more not trying than I will failing. If it's valiant, if it's important, if it has integrity, I'm okay with failing. I'm not going to go try to fail, because trust me, I'm as competitive as they come. You know, I'm not trying to lose at anything. Like, we're very competitive at Uno in my house. So
same.
We have an ongoing Uno. So we all come over. My 8-year-old, my wife is the reigning Uno champion, but you know, my daughter's been kicking some ass too. But she'll tell you too. So, you know, like, we're a very competitive family, but at the same time, you know, we take time to talk about it. Yeah. You know, if you lose, you cry, you be upset and whatever, and sometimes I gotta say, no, you gotta let her cry that out, because that's competitive nature. But, you know,
you better play.
You better, next time we're gonna play again, and I'm gonna beat your ass.
Expect this, because I'm not letting up. I can't let you win.
No, and I'm not going to. And I'm gonna play hard. I'm gonna play hard every time, and
I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna drop that +4 on you, little sis.
Oh yeah, draw for him. Yeah, and I'm gonna do the reverse skip, back move. We're gonna keep hitting them, and then you're gonna draw 4, and you're gonna like it.
My little sister. So before I left Austin, the last night I was there, I had a 6 o'clock flight. But that night, me, my sister, my little 8-year-old sister, she's like my child, and we were playing Uno, me, her, and my dad. So she won the first game, and she's on it. But she likes to cheat, and I'm like, come on, you can't cheat. So the next 4 games, I'm just winning. I won the first.
And you rubbed it in.
No, I won the third one, and then she tried to walk away, and she was like, "We're gonna play one more, just one more." And she came back, and I had a hand. It wasn't even fair. She was so mad. Because she had the wild card. Well, I had a wild card. She put down a green. She had like 2 cards left. So I reversed it to a different color, because we had, there's like the cards where you can you can write on them. Yeah. It was reversed to a different color. So she had to draw. Didn't get a card. It came back to me. I hit her with a draw 4.
And she was sick.
She was sick. It was a draw 4. Changed the color. I only had 1 left. Came back to me, Uno. And she dropped the cards and went to bed.
She couldn't take it.
She couldn't take it, and I kind of felt bad, but then I'm just like, hey, baby, this is life right here.
This is life, and you taught her a great lesson, and she's gonna be. I don't want to play her in 5 years. I'll tell you that much. She'd be a problem. These kids, when they're trained like that, they're going to be a big, big, big problem. And I say problem, but I mean solution. Yeah. When I say that. And but no, ain't letting you win. Like, it doesn't matter what we're playing. I'm not letting you win.
No way.
It's just not going to happen.
Even if we play Monopoly, you ain't gonna let me.
I'm not letting you.
I'm gonna win anyway.
Yeah, we're playing soccer. We're racing. We're doing whatever. And as a father, like, when they do win, Like it's part hurts, and I feel a little bit of pain, but then there's that joy of just watching, be like, dang, you really did win. And she'll say, you didn't let me win. I'm like, nope. She's like, I beat your ass. And if I was 8-year-old, like, you're not supposed to say that, like your father. But I'm like, you did. Like you did. So we're good. Yeah. She kills me in memory. Like, boy, she kills me. We lay out all these cards, and I'll have like eight connections, and she'll have like 20 of them, and she's like, smoked you.
Yeah, that's how my little brother is. He's
Wake up in the morning, remind me.
Genius. I'm like, yo, you're way.
Dude, my son, my wife got him a Rubik's Cube the other day. He put that thing together in 2 minutes. 5 years old, Kingston, and my wife was like, watch, you gotta watch this. And he came downstairs and did it again. I'm like, oh my God. And I videotaped the very last part of it. I put it on my story because I was so much in awe. Now I can't get him to pick it up. He thinks he's stupid.
Oh, because he's already conquered that.
Yeah, and Don knows my son too, and he's a different. He thinks differently. He's a different dude. He's a cool cat. Very loving. I mean, so protective of his sisters and his mom, and he loves cars, and he'll make me pull over on the side of the road just to pick a flower for his mom. Like, he's just so loving, and that's full of love. I mean, he won't, like, we were gonna go to this place called Hat Creek.
I love Hat Creek.
Yeah, Hat Creek
are fire.
Yeah, so Hat Creek's by our house, and so I was gonna take him, and his sister wasn't home yet from Taekwondo, and he wouldn't go without his sister. He's like, no, I'm waiting for myself. No, I'll wait. And like that, seeing that love between the siblings, and is good. It's a testament to their mother very much, but watching these kids grow and being able to teach them the things that we weren't taught. Is a beautiful thing, because they're gonna, right?
It'll be different. They're gonna rule the world in a good way.
In a good way, and for us, we got to set that example, because we talk about all these other issues. We talk about systemic racism. We talk about any of these problems that we're facing. It ain't gonna be fixed up there.
No.
This is going to be a movement that's going to be, unity. Like, this is not something that we can keep pointing fingers at institutions, although I wouldn't say it's not their responsibility or things like that, but if things are going to get done, it's going to be no different than the civil rights movement or women's suffrage or any other great revolution that's happened, the Civil War, whatever you want to call it. There's going to have to be unity that's shown by example. One thing I learned as a father is, kids don't do what you tell them. They do what they see.
Yep, facts. Oh my gosh.
They do what they see. And so until they start to see something different, they're not going to do things different.
It's like the foundation. It starts at the bottom. It starts with the...
Now you're talking my language.
Yeah, it's the foundation.
It's always the foundation. You try to put up some sheetrock and some fancy windows with a bad foundation, you ain't got nothing. You gotta
stay up there.
We have bricks to the fall.
Yeah, so we can't look to the higher ups to remedy the issues we have as a community, as a society.
Right. We actually have to go down. Not in a negative way, but like we have to go to the root.
Yeah.
We have to water the root. And that comes with education. That comes with platform. That comes with
vulnerability.
It comes with honesty. Comes with two guys like us aren't supposed to know each other, right?
Yeah,
stereotypically,
that's what they say.
I'm saying, like, you say, but that's my brother, that's my family.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Like, hold on, who's this Iranian white boy sitting over here with us?
with this black guy.
Yeah,
what is this?
Yeah, but these guys, like, they're family.
Exactly.
And and you can't fake that. You can't fake that kind of love and that kind of respect. And I think these are things that need to be shown.
And I can't wait to have it shown to the world, man. And I appreciate you, but we got one last thing. We got a fast five. I ain't even get to do the intro to the show, but whatever, we'll get it done eventually. We got a fast five, and I'm gonna give you five quick questions, and he's gonna ask rapid questions. I ain't even get to prepare for this because this was so quick. All right, favorite shoe.
Favorite shoe?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one. Right now, my 350s.
Okay. Favorite music besides hip hop?
Besides hip hop,
Yep.
I'm a classic Sinatra. I'm a Sinatra man.
Okay.
Student of the classics.
Favorite concert you've ever been to?
Favorite concert I've ever been to: Pearl Jam and Rage Against the Machine.
Oh my gosh. I love rock, bro.
I was a kid too. It was insane.
I love rock. Favorite destination that you've traveled to?
Favorite destination that I've traveled to: Paris.
Paris. I heard Paris was beautiful. If you were an animal in the ocean, what would you be?
Great white shark.
The white, that's lit, man. Well, Ari, I appreciate you for spending the time and taking the time to come and be on the show today. I mean, this is incredible, honestly. Like, I would have never expected to, this early in the whole, like, podcast, like, scene, be live recording a interview with someone of your stature and, like, the genuine person you are and the integrity that you hold and just the love and energy that you possess as a person and a man is unbelievable. And
I could say the same thing about you, my friend.
like throughout this whole like conversation, I've just been like, damn, like this is like a friend of mine now.
Yeah, we definitely have that. We definitely have that.
Yeah.